At the University of Arizona BIO5 Institute, we are focused on tackling complex challenges such as disease, hunger, water and food safety, and other health and environmental issues facing our families, communities, and the world. BIO5 brings together hundreds of multifaceted experts that include world-class scientists, engineers, physicians, and computational researchers in a team science environment designed to creatively solve difficult problems. This approach has resulted in disease prevention strategies, promising new therapies, innovative diagnostics and devices, and improved food crops. Join us each week as we talk about science with researchers, staff, and students from the University of Arizona's BIO5 Institute.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Science Talks, a conversation hosted by the University of Arizona's BIO5 Institute. My name is Sean Caden, and every year at the BIO5 Institute, we provide hands-on opportunities for a broad range of students, from high school to undergraduate, and from graduate to postdoctoral trainees. One of our flagship programs is the KEYS Internship. KEYS stands for Keep Engaging Youth in Science. It is a highly competitive internship program that provides talented high school students from all across the state of Arizona a real-world research experience. Over the years, these experiences have sparked intellectual and creative curiosity in an ever-growing list of students, as well as our staff. I started working with the BIO5 Institute in 2007, and that is the same year that Dr. Marty Lindsay launched our very first cohort of KEYS interns. A big thank you to Dr. Lindsay for making the KEYS program a reality. So today I'm joined by my co-host and KEYS program coordinator, Brooke Moreno. She slides into the interviewee chair. Welcome, Brooke. We also have with her her co-program coordinator, Kelle Hyland, as well as two KEYS crew leaders, BIO5 outreach specialist, Marissa Romero, and BIO5 KEYS student assistant, Robyn Pratt. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
So I wanted to start with a stream of consciousness, and remember, this is being recorded. When I say KEYS program, what does that mean to each one of you? Kelle, we'll start with you.
The KEYS program for me means an opportunity for those that normally wouldn't have it to really experience what true research is like in the lab, to have that experience before they decide solely on a career in a future in science, so that they have some direction and some resource to help them along the way. It's an amazing program that I wish was around when I was in high school.
Oh, me too. And I try to encourage my my oldest son to really be active in science, but it's a tough sell for a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I think, but I think if they realize the KEYS program is something where you shadow researchers in a real world environment and you talk about real world problems, I think it would change their views on science. Do you agree with that, Brooke?
Oh, I agree on changing views on science, but I also agree that not everyone's a scientist or a bench scientist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have fantastic accountants that contribute to science. We have science communicators, we have the writers, we have everyone in between that helps make science successful. And I think exposing students to science is that first step to showing them the plethora of careers available in science.
Great. And I know, so we have Marissa, you're a former student who's been in outreach. You talk about the KEYS program out in the community. You have up and coming scientists who want to apply for the KEYS program. How does that work when you're out there at a school trying to explain what the KEYS program is and why it's really important for kids to join our program?
Yeah, for me, I more so sell obviously on the amazing opportunity for the KEYS program, but also just the community. I think it's a great family, and you walk away with 50 plus new friends that are all kind of passionate about the same things, but then you can learn from one another, bounce off each other, and having that before you go into college, I feel like you can't really find that anywhere else.
Yeah, it is a tremendous experience. And now, Robyn, you've been a KEYS student, you've been a KEYS intern. So, and I know, Brooke, you've also, we'll get back to you in a second, Brooke, but I know you've also been a KEYS intern. So talk about the experience on both sides. So one, you're a KEYS intern, and look at all these crazy people that you're working with, and then, hey, maybe I do want to continue to work with them as a student.
Absolutely. When I was an intern, I knew probably 2 weeks in, Keys was going to have a hard time
Wow.
getting me. Interacting with the other Keys crew my year and the staff, I just absolutely fell in love with the people and the mission. Being in Keys was a really, really great experience. Like as soon as I walked into the room, I just felt accepted and encouraged and inspired by the science that was going on around me, but also, like Marissa said, the community of people. And then being on the staff side, I love being a part, because I felt so welcomed when I was an intern, that I love to be a part of creating that community and that openness to being yourself and inspiration of learning science.
So you could pay it forward. You could make other people feel comfortable, because that segues nicely into my next thing. Keys isn't easy. I think, the first time I remember hearing this, well, you're bringing like these highly successful students from the various schools all around the state, and they've been successful at everything they've done, and now they're going to come into a program where maybe they won't be as successful. I've heard that tears do happen, in that first couple of weeks, and to be able to like pick yourself up after you've fallen down and say, hey, look, this is a challenge. I'm going to be challenged in this program. So did you have one of those moments, Robyn, when you were in the program?
Oh, absolutely. A couple. But I think that's a really important part of Keys, is that a lot of students only have like doing really hard things when they get to college. But I was already experienced in that field by the time I got to college. So I was the one with my friends who were taking hard classes and experiencing those failures. But it's like, no, come on, let's keep going. Like, you got this. This is just the beginning. And so that was just something very valuable I learned in Keys that I was able to take with me into college.
It's fantastic. We had Felicia Goodrum on one of our prior podcasts, and she talked about asking tough questions, asking the questions that don't have easy answers. And I think that's really important for any would-be researchers out there, that they are comfortable with asking those questions. Anybody can ask questions that there are easy answers for, but when you ask the tough ones without easy answers, and you're not discouraged by that, I know that the term that Brooke used a lot is lifelong learner. It's like, bring the challenge on. I'm going to keep digging until I figure some things out. And there's one thing I've heard about, and I think we should totally do this as a team. And you guys, anybody can jump in and answer this one. Tell me about, is it Improv Professor?
Yes.
I'm really curious about Improv Professor. If you could explain what it is and its value to the Keys program as an introductory tool to these students. I don't know if you use it in the beginning or if you use it in the middle or where exactly you use it, but it sounds like a fascinating thing.
Oh, Improv Professor is one of my favorite things that we do over the summer. We use it, we don't do it too early, because it is that we get them out of their comfort zone. So seminar about 2 weeks in, but what it is, it's a PowerPoint that we create beforehand, the staff does. And we add just the most random stuff to it. We add pictures of like Barbies and like complicated biological processes, like actual rocket science.
Wow.
Pictures of crew that are like out of context and even in context don't even make sense. And we just fill it. And what we do is that we pull it up and we congratulate all the students on their newly received PhDs. And we call them up and ask them to present their research to us. And this is the PowerPoint they've never seen. So we hit the slide, and the first thing is like this complicated rocket science, like equation. Okay. So they're standing up in front of their peers, and having to explain something that we can't explain.
So it tests their improv ability, so that if you're given, because I see how valuable that would be if we fast forward to the showcase. Now I'm involved beforehand, with the financial elements, and then I go to the showcase. A lot of the stuff in the middle is stuff that I just hear about from Kelle or Brooke. But to get from that point where some students may be crying, not that that's a goal of the Keys program, but understand that that is a possibility, to where they are at the showcase and talking in front of the community and other people, either from the public or I can't tell you how many people have gone to those showcases and just said, wow, I can't believe these students are up there presenting their research in this poster, and how great they sound, how comfortable they sound. And you guys deserve a ton of credit for that, to get them to that place, because I'm assuming that's not how they come into the program.
No.
Definitely
They come
not.
down, a lot of them come looking down at their feet, they're not even making eye contact, and they go from 0 to 100 in those 7 weeks. Just the growth of confidence. But that's one of our main goals, is to increase that genuine self-confidence, so it's authentic and they believe in themselves. Because if they don't believe in themselves, they're gonna have a hard time pushing through to this very uncomfortable position they have, of they don't know what to expect. This is all brand new. They're high schoolers and they're doing work. They're doing things even undergraduates haven't done yet. A lot of undergraduates haven't even had time to be in the lab or have that experience. So it's a lot. And, they take on that challenge and they do well. And it's amazing to see the growth.
It is a transformation, and it occurs every year, and it's always impressive. Just looking at some of the poster titles that just make my eyes cross. I'm like, wow. And you're going to talk intelligently about that? I mean, I won't be able to contradict you. I just kind of keep walking till I find one that sounds like, bees. I know something about bees.
You and me both, Sean. Coming from not a science background, I'm sitting there like, I think you're saying everything sounds great, but
you are fantastic. Just keep up the good work, and don't ask any questions of me, because I don't know any of the answers, but I'm glad that they're out there asking the questions. The questions are the important part. And now that brings up an interesting point. I know part of the assessment is trying to figure out what the students are actually interested in and how you match them up with the right researcher. Talk about that process a little bit, maybe Brooke.
Yeah. So our pedagogy is student-centered learning, and we really try to activate that intrinsic motivation, that innate desire to study or to learn. And we actualize that based on their interests. Come to us with what you're passionate about, and let us get you head over water into deep, right? We're you in the deep end. And so we capture that through our application process. And it's actually the greatest weight in our application process is that authentic passion to want to do scientific research. They create a letter of interest, and we provide them prompts to talk about. Tell us what you're passionate about, what you love about science. If you don't know specifically, tell us how our program can help you find that. They get a score for their letter. They also have other materials as well. And the students that qualify for interviews, we spend a lot of the time in the interview just talking about their scientific interests. And we're not quizzing them on terminology or what they know about it. But if they're like, man, I just find cancer fascinating and I want to solve it one day, I want to understand how it works. It's like, all right, get over here. I've got a lab for you.
And finding the because I've heard from the researcher side how exciting. I know Dr. Barton, our director, has talked about having Keys students and what a huge impact that's had in our lab. And I do find I'm a basketball coach, so I do find that sometimes teaching somebody something helps reaffirm what you already know, and it opens up new doors. So I would strongly encourage any researcher to have a Keys intern, because it's really, not only are you going to be teaching them something, they'll probably be teaching you something as well. Do you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
We talk about things that are kind of correlated, learning experiences. One of the things that I've appreciated about the Keys program is the fact that I started at right around the same time that it started. And when I first was involved, I remember thinking, what is this program? This is so strange. And then as the years went on, I'm like, wow, this program is really great, to a point where you guys invited me to be part of the Keys group. And really, it's like the second family. It's like I have business office, but I also have that Keys family, which I really appreciate. So thank you guys for being being so welcoming. And
Thank
and
you.
I know over the past year we've had a challenge. So the Keys program has always had some challenges. We know this very well. It's like we've had the students who come and have a hard time because it's challenging. It's a challenging program. I mean, it's meant to challenge people, but we also have all the logistics. It takes a village. It takes a lot of different people kind of interacting in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2020 happened, and you guys had to, and we're going to use the word again, you guys had to pivot and say, all right, are we just not going to have a program this year? Or are we going to do something completely different? And you did something completely different. Kelle, talk about that experience.
Yeah, that was something that we never, ever would have thought we would have had to even encounter. So at the time that COVID hit and everyone was staying home, we had already selected our class to participate in person for the 2020 program. So we had to make a lot of decisions really quickly, obviously with safety being the number one concern at that point. But, a lot of programs on campus were choosing to cancel and postpone until the next summer. And we just felt terrible. And Lisa Romero, who is a leader at BIO5, also felt that we would do them a disservice to cancel. And so she spoke with one of our instructors from last summer, Dr. Uwe Hilgert. So he's a BIO5 staff as well. And he was willing to come and teach our kids some data science skills. And we just felt like that was the logical step to providing something for them to where they could engage in research and be able to learn these new skills and apply them, even if it wasn't exactly that wet lab experience. So that's what we did. We sent an email to them and said, hey, we're very sorry we can't have this in-person experience, but here's what we'd like to offer you, this opportunity to be with us virtually all summer. And instead of learning those biotechnology skills you learned that first week, we're going to teach you the data science skills you'll need to participate in research via the computer all summer. And that was before most students had really been online for a long time, with their general education in high school. So it was new to all of us, being in the chair and on camera for 8 hours each day training week, and these students just hung in with us, and we all made the best of it. But it was amazing because we did pivot it, provided that training. They all did wonderful and did amazing projects, things that I couldn't even comprehend that they were participating in at this age. And it was nice to actually be able to listen in on a lot of that research that they were experiencing as a minor policy or minor program. We're under the minor policy on campus. So we often would sit in as a third party for labs and hear the training that was going on.
Wow.
And for me, I would be sitting there just so intrigued, like I could never have imagined doing this at their age. And then they come to the end of the program and they just knock it out of the park. And it's like that pride you feel for like, oh my God, you did it. You took it from here to here and something brand new we've never done and did it phenomenal. So I give them all the credit in the world. The researchers for being able to pivot with us. I mean, I'm tremendously grateful to them for being able to work with us so quickly and provide projects for our students. And some researchers, not just one project, but gave multiple projects so students would be able to participate.
And a huge shout out to our researchers who take on interns every year. They just, I know we say thank you a lot to them, and as we should, and we really do appreciate everyone that takes on a Keys intern. It makes the program run, we need it. So, and that the adaptability of the students to be able to go to a completely different form is quite amazing. I think we've all had to. And mostly successful, but there are days when you just you just were like, well, this is how we're doing it. I think I saw somewhere a Brady Bunch style, like massive screen like this with all the different people, the Keys students and Keys crew and you guys, and it was like man, how the heck do you do that? That just seems trying to manage that. Do you have to mute everybody and let Brooke talk, or is that, does that work? Wow.
Pretty much.
Wow. So I'm going to ask Brooke you a question, because I know you have a one of the more unique experiences, as you started with the Keys program as an intern, and then you were a student worker, and now you're a program coordinator, and I'm very fortunate to have you as my co-host on these podcasts. Come on, heart. So talk about, the evolution of that process for you, all the different things that you're like, oh, that's why they do that, or some highlights from that time.
I think my story is just a testament to the support structure that as a student I wasn't aware of in Keys. But being on the other side, I can see as clear as day how intentional we are about layering that mentoring and that support to our students, but also the institutional support from BIO5. So as a Keys intern, I failed a lot. I failed tremendously. And it was with Dr. Lindsay's mentorship, my Keys crew mentors, my lab mentor, Dr. Hedwin Brooks, that showed me that that's fantastic. I'm trying. I'm failing because I'm trying something new, something I don't know how to do. And that changed everything for me. And even coming in, like Robyn, I got bit by the STEM bug, the education bug. And when I saw Keys was hiring, I applied and fortunately was able to work here. But what I found transitioning from an intern to my student role in undergrad to my full-time staff position is that BIO5 Institute is just really a place of education. And their primary objective in research, in their outreach, in their education is teaching, is learning in STEM. And even as a professional, the opportunities to fail in my work with Keys, to fail when I submit a P card form wrong, or other areas. It's Kate Riley, Lisa Romero, Dr. Barton have been 150% educators in their own ways, and allowing us to fail so that we can come up with innovative programming for the Keys program and to continue to support students and let them fail fantastically.
And be okay with that. I think that's the key. Is people think of failure as like, oh no, this is a terrible thing. To redefine that term as this is an opportunity to learn. Absolutely. And to not get too down on yourself when things are not going well. So I think that's just good life lessons. So I'm going to ask you.
Where the most, oops, sorry. I was going to say that's where the most growth happens.
So we'll continue with you, Marissa.
Yeah.
Give me a wow moment that you had during the Keys program. You all get a chance at this one. So think about yours. Marissa, you're on first.
Okay. So, we already touched on this a little bit, but my wow moment definitely has to be the genuine self-confidence that is evolved throughout this program, because being a crew mentor for the past couple of years, having that direct relationship with those interns, and some start out barely able to speak 2 words. And then by like week 4 or 5, not even the end of the program, they're volunteering to go first. They're speaking up, wanting to present, asking questions like left and right. And then comes the showcase and they're all dressed up. They're so proud of themselves. Yes, and I think that's just such an important life lesson, but especially that's such a pivotal age for those kids. If they're looking to go into college or any career path, those are skills you'll need forever and beyond. So my wow moment is definitely just seeing how proud, because that makes me happy, these students get after such a short amount of time, and that they can feel good and confident about themselves moving forward.
So you have a bunch of wow moments then,
yeah,
which is
really,
great. Every year, every year we have a wow moment, which is great.
Yeah.
So same question for you, Kelle.
Well, I always say when people ask me this question or what's your favorite part of Keys, I always say it is seeing the growth from the student coming in that first day that we're actually in training week, and it's the first time they've joined us officially in a class, to that very last day when they're on stage getting their certificate and having donors shaking their hands and taking photos, and just looking at that happened in 7 weeks. That growth, that amazing growth happened in 7 weeks. But I think while I was, thinking about this question, something I'd like to add to it too is actually the growth of our mentors. Because I see the same thing happen with our Keys crew, which are usually alum of the program that come back and mentor the class for us the next summer. I see the same thing with them coming in, training as a new mentor, to them leaving us, and the growth that's happened with them too. So I think all of it, it's amazing to me with the dedication and heart that they all bring to it, and to be able to absorb everything that they're being taught and really come out successful.
Great. Who wants to go next? Robyn, Brooke?
I can go.
Great.
So my wow moment is something that happens every year, and especially when I was an intern, is in high school, you don't get the opportunity, and not really even in college, to be in a room or on a Zoom call with 50 plus people who are just so excited to be there and just so passionate about the same thing that you're passionate about, and just that huge community. So I remember coming home after Keys when I was in it and just buzzing, because like you feed off of the energy, because everyone wants to be there. And it's not very often that you get to share such a passion with so many people.
I mean, we got 5 people on this Zoom, so we're all pretty passionate about it. But yeah, 50 is quite remarkable for sure. So, and you, Brooke, your wow moments?
It's right off of Robyn's comment. It's just the amount of love. That's really what it is. It's love. It's students who love to learn and love science, researchers that love to mentor and love their science, this fantastic staff that loves to show up every day and to support students and to model for them. And it's just love that just vibrates throughout this program throughout the year. That's my favorite part.
So the program is 7 weeks. It's coming up. We're doing it online again this year. So do you have any exciting plans for this year's program, or is it going to be, or we have to wait and see? Stay tuned for the next episode. Cliffhanger. Because we've already selected our Keys group for 2021. Yes. So you guys are kind of starting to like match people up and do all the things that you do so they can shadow their researchers and do such a great job in the 7 weeks that they're not here. They're going to be where they are, right? Online. Anything new or tantalizing to talk about for this next year's program, or do we have to wait and see?
I think that we're going to put a little teaser out there and you have to wait and see.
There you go. I think wait and see.
Stay tuned.
And for you, Marissa, you guys are the leaders. You and Robyn are going to be the leaders, teaching kind of the next Keys crew member. I know the Keys crew have come on board now, so now you have to kind of give them the 411. Are you pretty excited about that?
Yes, definitely. I just admire like these students who have applied for this position and volunteered their time and efforts into something very abstract, being online pretty much 24/7. And but the mentorship aspect of this program is so important, and having them all on board and getting them prepared we're very excited for it. And I think they will have a really good summer with us.
That's great.
We learned a lot from last year, so we're
well,
hoping it will be a little bit easier of a transition.
Well, you're not going to have much more of a curveball than global pandemic, so that you guys at least.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, I know. I should knock on something. I will close with, if you had words of advice for future Keys interns, being that you guys have seen the experience from start to finish, what would be your words of advice for the Keys interns of the future? And we'll start with you, Kelle.
Never give up, keep persevering, and remember that failure is not a bad thing. It's a learning tool.
Great. Robyn, your words of advice as someone who's been through it?
100% is to embrace the transformation. I think my key summer was the summer I've grown the most. And so embrace the failures, learn from them. Just, you won't be the same person you in the summer as when you began it.
Okay, great. And Marissa?
I would say to remain open-minded and don't get discouraged from the downfalls that you'll experience during it, because it will just make you that much better in the end.
I think those are great words of advice. And I think if every Keys student that comes on board realizes that this is part of the journey, that you're not expected to come in and know everything right off the bat. And matter of fact, I know we've had this conversation before that oftentimes the researcher will tell you, it's like, we don't know, figure it out, and that's, how crazy is that? Because you go to the researcher thinking that that person knows everything, and they admit that they don't almost right off the bat, at least a lot of them do. And I think if they don't know with absolute certainty, you can't be expected to either, and that you cannot be discouraged. So if they're not discouraged and they see a challenge and they want to embrace it, then we've picked well for our interns. And you guys have picked well often, a whole bunch over years and years and years. So just great job,
Well,
all of you
thank you.
guys. So
Yeah, thanks.
so
Thank you so much.
any closing thoughts, any pitch regarding Keys or the BIO5 Institute?
I just want to, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Marissa.
I was going to say to follow us on all of our social media platforms, because there's going to be a lot of fun, exciting content coming your way soon, and especially over the 7 weeks this summer, and especially being all online. That's the best way to tune in on a day-to-day basis.
Great. I think I got a nice message from Amy that I think is very on point. It's believe in yourself because we believe in you.
Yes, absolutely.
So those interns, it's like we picked them, we want them. That Amy's going to give it credit to Brooke, but I was going to credit Amy on that one. So we're all good. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate, you guys coming on. This has been a lot of fun. I knew it would be. For more information on the Keys program, please visit the Keys website. And just I want to make sure I have that correct. That's Keys, keys.arizona.edu. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Please visit the Keys website for more information on the Keys program. For more information on the BIO5 Institute, please visit our website at bio5.org. And from all of us here at the BIO5 Institute, thank you for joining us.
To our audience for tuning in to another episode of Science Talks. Continue the conversation with us next time as we learn more about the science happening at the University of Arizona's BIO5 Institute.